You say you walk through the word of Christ. Christ hung out with the prostitutes. He hung out with the lawyers. He hung out with the worst people and tried to convert them because he wanted people to be understood. And even if he couldn't convert them, he still loved them. That is the thing you guys are missing. Even if he couldn't convert them, he still loved them. You guys hate. That is the issue. I've been watching grifter content recently. If you don't know what a grifter is, it's people that complain about the woke or the DEI hires in video games and movies. Then the people that complain about the new Star Wars. People complain about, oh, the nonsense that Borderlands got dumbed down. When they make a remaster, they complain that it's not women that are being overly sexualized. Those are the people that complain about that. Whenever there's a woman inside of a show or TV, they say, oh, this is girl boss energy, and they hate that. And I've been trying to understand their mentality because I don't like to go into anything with the mindset of ignorance. I like to understand and see where they're coming from. So I deep dived and spoke to a bunch of them. I've been speaking to them for the past 10 days, as a matter of fact, and I've been having back and forth conversations, and this is what I understand. When they say woke, they mean women or homosexuality. Baldur's Gate 3 does not count for some reason. They consider Baldur's Gate 3 a woke game. However, they also consider Baldur's Gate 3 a rare exception of a game that went woke but didn't go broke. However, most games that go woke go broke. And that is what their mindset is how they understand how things operate. For instance, with the new Ghost of Tsushima 2 or Ghost of Yote coming out, they are upset that the protagonist is a woman. And I have listened to their complaints and listened to their arguments. Some people complain that Space Marine 2, well, Space Marine, the new one that came out, Warhammer, has Indian women in it. It's famously Synthetic Man. If you've never seen Synthetic Man, he is somebody that will complain about any smidgen. He's a bit too far gone of the people, but he does represent a powerful fan base, and he has a strong fan base of people that grift, and he probably gets paid for that. Rightfully so. He has a fan base, he has a community, and I will never knock a community truly unless it starts to affect me, because now it's affecting me. And now I'm agitated. I'm irritated by this. This has actively pissed me off now. Simply of the matter of fact that I am 100% positive that they're gay. I am so 100% positive. I am not saying gay is the derogatory term. I am not using it as a way to bash them. I am 100% positive, though, that there is no universe in which you could be this upset that women are in video games, or even black men are in video games, unless you are thinking about the black male form all the time. You are thinking about black men phallic members in the category that is commonly associated on promiscuous websites that is particularly to my race that is coined as the British Broadcasting Channel, the BBC. I think that you are probably thinking about that too often. I have seen over the internet, on Reddit, on 4chan, and on Twitter, people get very upset about the sheer aspect that a black person is in a video game. Now, I can understand their complaints. Their complaints are as such with Yasuke, such with the Assassin's Creed. Why is there a black man in ancient Japan? That doesn't make any sense. He wasn't even a samurai. I'll give you that. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to argue that. But Yasuke was a member in history. As a matter of fact, the Assassin's Creed games do a over-romanticization of history within that aspect. It's just an over-romanticization of history. I don't think it's going to be accurate. Why are they making him a samurai? It's disrespectful to Japanese culture. I didn't know you cared that deeply about Japanese culture, you American man who probably is going to vote for Donald Trump, and I appreciate that. I'm happy you're open to your integrity, and I'm happy you're sticking to your morals and guns, and I'm happy you refuse to grow as a person, because that tells me exactly who I'm talking to. Somebody that does not want to see the other side and just wants to stay on their side and complain about it. And I respect that. I respect you staying integral to your core beliefs. That is a dogma I wish most people had, to stay true to their grift, to stay true to what they're doing. And I love that. People like Grums, who constantly complain about how women are ugly and now in video games, how they have DEI chin. They often say, oh, well, Stellar Blade was a great game because the woman was beautiful in it. The gameplay in Stellar Blade is not that bad. Truly, it's a decent game. 6 out of 10 on a most scale. I played it, didn't really hate it. It was a pretty decent game. However, me playing as the character didn't really affect much. Sometimes Grums will complain about character creators, which messes me up deeply. You create the character. They add the options of other genders and other things because other people exist. They exist and they play video games for a large time. You may not know this. Video games were very male dominated. If you look throughout the history of women protagonists in video games, or even women characters. Mai Shiranui was very sexualized. Samus Aran was not sexualized. Most people didn't know Samus was a woman until Super Smash Bros. I'm not joking. Most people didn't know Samus was a woman until Super Smash Bros. Bayonetta, overly sexualized but very powerful original character. People were happy about that because she was pretty and she was a girl boss character, and they liked it because she was pretty. However, this started to pop up very deeply around the time Ghost of Tsushima came out. Ghost of Tsushima showed a woman in the game, and when that happened, people went crazy. That's when I first noticed it. I also noticed it with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was an objectively bad movie. I don't think Captain Marvel was good. And it is not because of the main protagonist being a woman. It's because the movie by itself sucked. There are great movies, great video games that have main-led, women-strong characters. Great games like that. Tomb Raider series, outstanding. However, they'll complain about Tomb Raider because she is not overtly sexual as she was previously. She got a redesign, and that makes them angry because they cannot use that as gooner material, as what I like to call it. Let me explain something right quick. Why is Overwatch 1 so successful? Is it because it's the first hero shooter of its genre? It had 6v6 modes. It was amazing, had balanced teams? Wrong. It's because the SFM 3D artists decided to use that for promiscuous content. There is so much of it that it makes up like a crazy base of it. There's so many dedicated 3D artists to making Widowmaker, Mercy, Tracer just put in promiscuous situations, which is gross and demeaning. Overwatch 2, they tried to combat that, but it didn't work. They still were able to grab those characters and pull them and put them. Some people make whole characters from the ground up and use those models just because they look so cool. Overwatch and Overwatch 2 have a large variety of characters that would be considered woke or DEI. But because there are some that are pretty and they have white guys in it, they don't complain about it. People say Concord failed because it had 6 black characters and no white guys in it. Why is there no white guys? This is white erasure. And that's their fear. They are scared because they believe that their race is getting eliminated. There's this racism towards white people. And I will admit one thing. There seems to be an active attack on white people for stuff they probably didn't do. But the response to that active attack is somehow worse than the attack itself. You can't fight racism with racism. You can't do that. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. They are fighting discrimination with discrimination. That is the issue that is happening. There needs to be a reasonable way to do this. There is no reasonability. If someone gets insulted online, they often attack someone's character or appearance, often calling them an INCEL. Involuntary celibate. They end up calling them that. They ended up saying mean things about the person, critiquing them, saying you look like that, and then saying, oh, you got pronouns in your bio, and then it just becomes the idiots leading the idiots, the blind leading the blind, the deaf listening to the deaf. It's a wall speaking to a wall. 2 extremist groups going against each other, back and forth. It's ridiculous. And it's okay to be on the right side or the left side. It's okay. But when you go too far, you become extremists and radicalized to a point where it doesn't make any sense, and you lose the aspect of having creative conversation. That is the issue I'm having. So, I surmise that they have to be homosexual. There's no universe in which you are so angry at the fact that you can play as a woman. I would love to play as a woman. Whole deeply, I would love to play as a woman. They'll often say something along the lines of, well, I'm not mad that I can play as a woman. I'm mad because the previous game you played as a man. Protagonists change. People change. Franchises change. That is a natural course of evolution throughout human history. You are on the wrong side of history if you are complaining every time you see a women who had to fight deeply for their rights to vote. Black people, if you are so upset to see a singular black person, so upset to see a single amount of diversity in a video game, if you hate it for the aspect of having diversity, then by all means, join a cult, drink some punch, and that will be the end of our discussion. But if you're willing to talk to me about why it's bad, why is it bad that it has diversity? Is there a specific reason it's bad it has diversity? Throughout the multitude of years, we have had people like Clint Eastwood, we've had Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, we've had a multitude of white actors, white-led protagonists, Doom Guy, Master Chief, so many characters that were just white. On a rare occasion, we would get a black character or a woman. We would get games like Oni. I don't know if you know a game called Oni. Oni was on PS2. woman-led thing. Great game. I loved it. If you've ever played Blood Rain, despite the fact that that game was overly sexualized of a woman vampire, it was an amazing game. I loved it. We had a lot of male leads in a lot of games throughout the course of history. I can name 100 in a row, and it will be super simple and super easy. I could do it immediately. Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, easy right there. That's 2 off the top of my head. Doom Guy, who I already mentioned, that's off the top of my head right there. I could just go down a constructive, insane list of how many there are, because there's a lot. A game that they complained about too, and I just recently saw this, Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 1 had 3 white guys. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Had Lewis, which is a black guy. Had Bill, who was an old guy. Francis, who was probably the people that they want to play the most. Francis is the greatest character in that entire game. And then Zoe, a white girl. They were super excited there was a white girl. She was pretty. Super good right there. And then they have Francis, who is what they want to be. Francis was the big macho tough guy. Bill, who is probably what they want to be too, who sacrificed himself in The Last Stand. I believe that was called Death Standing, whatever the one thing was where Bill sacrificed himself for Left 4 Dead 1. And then nobody played with Lewis. If you look up the character pick rate, Lewis is the least picked. Because primarily, a lot of gamers, growing up, when I play Halo 2, or Halo 1, or Halo 3, they were just racist. I was on Xbox playing them, and they would call me the hard R slur. They were just racist. A large part of them were. And now they're losing that gamer culture of women can't play video games, and I can be racist online, because it creates anonymity. You can't see me, you can only hear my voice. Get off the mic, you N-I-G-G-E-R. That is what they did. That is the whole thing. N-I-G-G-E-R is what I meant to say. I apologize. That is what it was. That was the culture for so long. And now the culture is shifting because there are new games. It's like when someone calls you not a true gamer for enjoying Animal Crossing or playing The Sims or one of those games. Everything's changing and it's making them upset. When things change, they feel like they're getting erased, but you're not getting erased. That's the issue, I think. They both can exist. It's like the issue I have when people complain about AI art. Both can exist. It's like going to McDonald's and then going to a 5-star restaurant. Obviously, the real artists are going to have fun and have the best time. It's going to be real and constructive. And AI art is going to be slop. And they think that they're the true, authentic 5-star restaurant. Let them think that. You've dominated for so long. That's fine. But you have to allow you to expand. You have to allow people into your domain. Expand it. Jujutsu Kaisen. You have to allow yourself to let more people in. We see this with the anime community. The anime community, notoriously racist. I literally have to call myself a blurred, a black nerd, because I am a separate category, because I'm too nerdy to be black and too black to be nerdy. I'm in a separate category. I'm a niche within a niche. And I don't think I'm special because of that. I don't. I want to just be called a nerd or a black person. There's too many categorizations. Truly, there are. And I can understand the hate of that. The hate of feeling like your entire lifestyle, your entire lifeblood being sucked and tore away from you. I get that. I understand it. But it's not an attack. We just want to be a part of it. We just want to be a part. It's not an attack. And I'm not a woke person. I'm not a DEI. I don't really care if there's gay stuff in my video games. I really don't. If it's narratively important, that'd be cool. But if it's just in the game, that's fine too, because gay people exist. Lesbians exist. But it's being pushed down my throat. Disney's pushing it down my throat. They're just trying to get on that DEI bag. A DEI diversity hire. They're just trying to get that game. And I understand your frustration because you think you're being attacked. You think you're losing something. You think you're losing your culture, your gamer culture. Where back in Halo, when you were playing it, you can call people slurs. You think you're losing that because girls don't play video games. You think you're losing that because why is there so much diversity in this game? It was all just white guys. It was all tough white guys. American Pie had nothing but white guys. Remember the movie American Pie? Nothing but white guys. Why are they adding all these black characters? Why are they doing this? Just put one token black guy in there and have him do his black stereotypes. I'm sick of it. I wish things how they used to be. And that's what they want. They want things to be how they used to be, but things grow, humans change, things evolve. The world becomes more accepting and progressive. That's how the world works. It doesn't happen in Islamic countries. It doesn't happen in Russian countries. It doesn't happen in Japanese countries. It doesn't even happen in Chinese countries. But in America, we are a melting pot. Accepting all, allowing all. We can't ignore the freedoms of people because you think they impose on your freedoms. They don't impose on your freedoms. They both can exist. And I'm sick of seeing this grift, this anger towards something that is not an issue. This is not an issue. This is a non-issue. There is no need to attack everybody. So you, Synthetic Man, and the person that argued with the Act Man, I don't remember your name, whatever your name was, all you people, Grums, all of you, it is okay that you are doing this just for a bag. I know you probably don't mean this with your whole chest and soul. You just want to argue, and that's fine. I respect that. Die on that hill. Die lonely, alone, and afraid because you're scared of the world that's changing around you. Be like your parents were, that didn't accept the world changing around them, that told you that your new stuff was stupid, that told you that video games were dumb, and now you make a living off of it. I'm so proud of you. You make a living off of the video games. You have your culture, and you are scared of new people coming into your culture and taking that away from you, and that is understandable. Black people do it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Black people do it. Black people don't want white people coming into hip-hop, and they begin to attack, and they get angry about it. I understand that. And you want to say the N-word so bad because it's such a cool word. You invented it. Why can't I say it? I invented it. I understand why you can feel that way. I really do. But this is not the right way to do it. It is horrible to not allow things to happen that are expressions of freedom, expressions of who you are. And if video games companies want to have a woman protagonist, want to put in diversity into a game because they want to show the expressiveness of it. If in Baldur's Gate 3, they want to have 3 different races in one camp because they're showing the diversity. Back in in fantasy world, the elves always hated the dwarves. Why are the elves and the dwarves talking to each other? I understand. It's angering that things are changing and people are understanding that you can't have racism all the time. I get it. It's so annoying to not be able to fully express why you enjoy the racism in video games so much. You are fighting a losing battle. You may have an echo chamber of people that deeply want to be the same as you, and you may not want to accept the change the world is coming, and I understand that. That is okay. And I'm not telling you to accept this. I'm really not. I'm telling you to die on that hill. Die on it. Truly, I mean this with my whole chest. Die on that hill. And when you are alone, thinking you'll get to Gamer Valhalla and realizing there is nothing but a cold and empty grave 6 feet under around people inside of the echo chamber that never saw and accepted anything, you will be miserable and sad and lonely, and you will seek satisfaction from people who only love the anger of the situation, and it will drain you and it will kill you mentally and emotionally until you finally try to accept our side, and we will come and accept you. As we have been cast out by the very family we hold dear, as we have been destroyed and cast out by everyone around us, by the Christian nationalists, by the people that destroy us. You say you walk through the word of Christ. Christ hung out with the prostitutes. He hung out with the lawyers. He hung out with the worst people and tried to convert them because he wanted people to be understood. And even if he couldn't convert them, he still loved them. That is the thing you guys are missing. Even if he couldn't convert them, he still loved them. You guys hate. That is the issue. I love you. Thank you for existing. Whether you're a grifter on the far right, the far left, I don't care. I'm not a centrist. I'm not right in the middle. I'm not a fence sitter. I pick a side and I heavily stand on it. My side is that everyone should be accepted. And I will fight for that. I'm happy you have integrity. So do I. You're amazing. Thank you.